Hey, welcome back to our retire early lifestyle, which is in jeopardy. I got some whoppers for you today, and so stick around. They're trying to destroy not just our retire early lifestyle, but our life in general. It's like we saw a headline the other day that said, here are the COVID rules for 2023, and I'm like laughing. These people think they can write articles and put it in the news and make rules for you. Well, maybe they can make rules for you. They don't make rules for me though. And they shouldn't make rules for any free, liberty-minded and what's the word for this? We're not just liberty-minded. We live our liberty. Our liberty is like our face. It goes along with us. It's part of us. It's who we are. We are a free people. And we have choices. We make choices. But there are people that think they can sabotage institutions, and it's all about making the rules. Isn't that something? Now, if anybody can make the rules, we've got a problem. Because all of a sudden, you're going to become a slave. Because people are just naturally going to gravitate, if they are evil in their heart, which there is good and evil in the world. Come on now. We've come a long ways. And since 2020, I know that a lot of people are waking up and realizing that yes, it is all about good and evil in the world. Some of us had been in tune with it for a long time before that, but it doesn't matter. It all comes down to being awake, being aware, and seeing what's happening. And it comes down to these people at the head of these institutions trying to con us. Some people call it gaslighting. Gaslighting is just a kind of sugar-coated way of saying thieves and robbers are trying to offer you something that looks like candy and get you to get in the car with them. They're worse than thieves and robbers, and you know that. Here's a little candy. Get in the car with me. I'll take you for a happy ride, or I'll take you home. Right? They're strangers. Now, you don't trust strangers, remember? And people that write articles are strangers. And if you're that easy to con, you got some work to do. It's like when I was in Italy. We traveled the world for 12 years. We spent 8 years in Ecuador. We brought our whole family abroad, so we're not these expats that decided, oh, you know what, I'd rather be with my grandkids. I think I'm going to go back home. We didn't do that. We brought our family with us. And I'm not trying to judge or fault people. It's just that people do. You can change your mind, It's okay. It's okay to go try something out. I see stories all the time. I got whoppers. This is part of it. I see stories of people that think something's a good idea. And the reason they think that is because they watch all these videos and they get a steady stream. They get fed a steady stream of fantasy. Oh, I'm going to go to the Philippines and I'm going to get a woman that's a third my age and everything's going to be wonderful. Look, everybody else is doing it. I'm going to go do it too. And then they get down there and it's not like, it's not that you can't find somebody that's a good person. It's just that, oh, I hate the Philippines. I hate it here. I don't like it. I can't stand it here. I can't live here. Not anything against the people of the Philippines. It could be any country. Just put in any country. It doesn't really matter. I just happened to watch a video where the guy went to the Philippines. Lots of people go to the Philippines and love the Philippines. I'm sure there's a lot. I have friends that are Filipinos, okay? And so we're not the type of people that jump on people. So, and that's another thing about this day and age, that the gaslighting and the lying from the thieves and the robbers that want to steal our liberty and tell us, here are the new rules. Well, you know what? We need to set up our lives in such a way that these people are completely irrelevant to our lives. These people become completely irrelevant. And when I say these people, I mean these institutions. And you know that the old Republicans, I call them old Republicans because there's a new Republicanism that's rising. And so I'm making a distinction. The old Republicanism, I'm not saying everybody in government is bad. There's a lot of people that want to do good, and even those that didn't realize or maybe knew what tyrants they really were, maybe they've had a change of heart and have repented. That happens too. Yes, that's the great thing about God's kingdom. He'll take you. All you got to do is change your mind. And so you got these people that are in government that change their mind about being tyrants and now want to come to the good side. But they're stuck in their old Republicanism way of thinking. And old Republicanism was all about trusting institutions just because they are institutions. That's like saying every stranger with a smile is trustworthy. You see my point? No, they're not. Every stranger with a smile and a candy bar isn't trustworthy.
Usually the ones with the smiles are less
Usually the ones with the smile. Exactly, good point, Angie. The ones with the smile and a candy bar, that's the ones you got to run from. And so the ones that are writing articles about, here are the new COV rules for 2023. You should just crumple that up immediately. We should go a step beyond that and do what we do, and that is everybody should become a content creator and everybody should speak out. Imagine everybody just speaking out. And even if we're blocked from these fake social medias, because that's what they are now, it's amazing because it's like we start waking up and we start tuning in. Little by little, we start realizing all of the things. But before that happens, we don't see things, and we think that people that talk about too much, you got to give people a little bit of time. We tend to scoff and call them conspiracy theorists. Where did that get started? And I had friends that would say things like that, conspiracy theory, because they know nothing about the subject and are too involved in the status quo to even want to consider another side to the story. But since 2020, we're waking up. It's happening. And I'm telling you, these people and these institutions, we decentralize our lives and we make them completely irrelevant. Is it a big undertaking? Yes, it is. It's a huge undertaking, but a journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. So we can be encouraged that we can take one step at a time. Yes, we're still abroad. We're in Mexico. We're talking about decentralization. We talked about the travel coming down to a private form of travel, and that's going to depend on how much money you got. And yeah, building wealth is part of that. We need to have decentralized finance, and we can also have local finance when we need to network together so that we can strengthen each other and accomplish more together. A three-stranded rope is not easily broken, but that one-stranded rope, all it takes is a little cut and it's done for. A chain is only as strong as its weakest link, isn't it? And then on to the next whopper. You've got the travel thing, and then you've got the finances thing with decentralized finances. This whole thing about having to go live in Dubai just because you're just a person that's awake And perhaps maybe you're not really as awake as you should be, but you just realize from a dollars and cents point of view that if you have an option of giving away a third to a half of your substance to strangers or not, that, well, gee whiz, it makes a lot of sense not, especially if when you're successful. But beyond that, those of us that understand that you're actually supporting Marxism, and supporting Marxism is not just about you and me anymore. Now it's about everybody, because as Marxism is supported more and more and it grows, it becomes a scourge and a cancer in the land. And now it wants to, kill everybody. Cancer wants to kill all the good cells, and that's when death arrives, is when the cancer cells win. And that's the point. We don't want to support Marxism either. And that's why I call it old Republicanism, because these governors that are well-intentioned and want to do good are a day late and a dollar short coming out and saying they're going to reduce the sales tax 1%. That's old Republicanism. That just won't cut it this day and age. And that's why I'm saying that look, bless their hearts. Let's pray for them so that they'll come to understand that they need to do way more than they're doing. But we don't have to wait on them. We can begin decentralizing our life now. Today we can begin decentralizing our life. And we talk about that among a lot of other things on our channel.
We're already decentralized in several aspects of our life, such as education and health.
Well, here's the thing. Going abroad pre-2020 was a form of decentralization, because people talk in terms of relying on one government. When you're truly decentralized, you don't rely on any government, although you have to interface with governments. But that's also debatable when you're truly decentralized. But that's going a little further than most people are ready to go. But let's just leave the conversation at the level where a lot of people are seeing it on YouTube, and that is to say that when you internationalize, you are decentralizing, because you're no longer dependent on the one government. You are now going and using other governments. You can say hasta la vista, baby, and go somewhere else. And some people call it go where you're treated best, but really you just go, wherever you feel that you're getting the liberty that you need in your life. But when even that is no longer enough, and people need to acknowledge the age that we live in, that evil is trying to corner us, even those of us that are running around the globe taking our liberty that way. There are those that are trying to corner us still. And so we need to first step, accept and acknowledge that that's happening, and stop sweeping it under the rug, stop ignoring it. And number two, come up with solutions. And that is to say, totally decentralized, not just internationalized, decentralized. Because even if you're going to spend 6 months in Dubai and the other 6 months you're going to travel the world, you're still dependent on common commercial carriers. And when they get subverted, which they are, and they demand that you do things to your body that you're not willing to do, that you know full well are not for your well-being, and worse than that, that's just what you're going to be caught by surprise. So you're going to be a guy that thinks he's got his act together. You're going to go run around the globe, pay little or no tax, stay in the best places, have what seems to be the most freedom in the world, and then one day you wake up and bam! Oh, you can't get on a plane. You gotta take this jab. Oh, you can't cross the border. No, you gotta take this jab. No, you gotta, what's this? What? So I mean, that's what I'm talking about. It's amazing when the masses, because this idea of internationalizing has just come to the masses recently. It's only in the last 10 to 15 years, really, that people, because of the internet, the ideas have spread a lot quicker. But even so, this is how ideas also become old quicker. So what used to be a great idea 10 years ago, ever since 2020, now needs to be modified once again, which is to say, decentralize away from all governments, go down to a private form of interaction, and avoid all of these institutions. And that's for those of us that are on the front lines of our liberty. And then, of course, everybody has their own calling in their life. There are those that, are called to speak out and have truther channels and all this kind of thing. So I'm not saying everybody has to do the same thing. So, but everybody can do something to participate in the new world. The new world, which is based on good, doing good, and having love for humanity. That is to say, you're not hateful of people. You're not looking to exploit people either, because some people sometimes don't realize that what seems to be okay, like sleeping around with different women and enjoying yourself, because I'm rich and handsome and can travel and go wherever I want and have any woman I want, you're basically using them as property, and with all of the problems that come with that, with becoming someone that doesn't know how to love a woman properly, doesn't know how to make a commitment to a woman, women that get pregnant, women that get used up and become the type of person that no longer makes a good wife, and where there's a lifelong commitment, in a marriage relationship that builds each other up, and where you're a team, which is how we were designed and what we were meant. So don't take that wrong. People sabotage their own lives, and you need to be careful who you're listening to. So when you're on a video watching someone just because they're a billionaire and they run around the globe and they do all these wonderful things, they don't necessarily have all their act together. And I'm not saying I do, I'm not saying, but in major areas like that, we need to have our act together. We need to become good people. That's what I'm saying. And the focus can't just be on how much money somebody has. It comes down to character. What kind of a character does somebody have? And that's the kind of world that we need to be envisioning, and the kind of world that we want to live in. The new world is here. It's here now. It's up to us to make it happen, and it's up to us to talk about it, and it's up to us to make it happen. So let's move beyond superficial conversations about splitting around the world and taxes, which is very important, because the truth be told, the historical record shows that at the creation of the world, there was no Marxism, and contributing to Marxism wasn't part of the deal. That's something people have schemed up and gaslighted others into believing into. So anyway, hope you got something out of that. Leave us a comment below. Thanks for coming to the channel, and have a wonderful day.